Hey, good morning, everybody. Thanks for being here. We're going to take a couple minutes. One of the best things, in my opinion, about the military, regardless of service, are the people. And we used to talk about in the Army side, mission first, people always. But one of the things is the welfare, in my opinion, the welfare of our soldiers and our families, our airmen, whoever you want to refer to, but the welfare of our service members and families are embedded inside of mission accomplishment. And that's a very, very tough balance, whether you're wearing the uniform, whether you're a Department of the Army civilian, or whether you're a family member. And so a lot of our family members that are here, as well as our civilian, Department of the Army civilians, have been serving for almost, anywhere from 10 to over 20 to 30 years. And so today is, she's hiding behind the curtain somewhere. But today is Mrs. Madeline Lanza's last community update. So there she is. And so I don't have any prepared remarks here. I just have, you have that down there though. But to me, Madeline, over the last 2 years, watching you, I will tell you, in my opinion, the words that come to my mind are grit, willpower, teamwork, and a tremendous amount of moral and physical courage. And I think what you have done for the spouses here and how you manage yourself over the last, I think, 17 years or so, doing things with your husband and in various places. You've been a teacher, you are a teacher. You have continued to mentor and support the spouses and the soldiers and the airmen here on the base as well. And it just shows you, back to those adjectives I just described, about your grit and your willpower, your leadership, your teamwork, and your moral and physical courage. And it is, to me, it is unmatched with a lot of things that I've seen around my service in the Army. And I just wanted to say on behalf of everybody here and everybody that's not here, thank you very much for your presence here and helping drive the information to make sure that we're a more resilient, higher well-being and health and welfare of everybody that's on this base. And I thank you very much. So. We're going to turn this over to you a little bit. So my wife has a pen for you as well. So we're going to read the certificate for you for your Certificate of Appreciation for Patriotic Civilian Service.
Certificate of Appreciation for Patriotic Civilian Service is awarded to Mrs. Madeline Lanza for your diligent service to the Installation Management Command Prevention and Education Programs at Joint Base Lewis-McChord. Your dedication and commitment to the Armed Forces Community Service ensures that our families are well informed and utilize the many services available to them. Most notably, you were the key driver behind the first Family Readiness Group Symposium held in 2015. Through your efforts, this annual symposium has helped train FRG leaders and family readiness liaisons to ensure that they are knowledgeable in getting their families to the right services. Your tireless support to military families reflects great credit upon yourself, Joint Base Lewis-McChord, and the Installation Management Command, signed Colonel Daniel S. Morgan.
So thank you very much.
Thank you. Talk about being taken unawares. I guess you would know if you saw me earlier how I'm not prepared. I had, as Alexandra just told me, a label. This is a new sweater, and the label was on it very neatly. So, no, I obviously am not prepared. But I can speak to you, first of all, from my heart. Thank you. Thank you all. It is so difficult to say goodbye. So I'm not going to say it. But I will say that this community is so incredible. Dan is fabulous, Patty marvelous. The community, they set us all up for success. And this is the reason that the community is great. You all show such care and compassion, kindness, and help each other. That's what makes us great. I am so proud and so happy to have spent nearly 5 years here. It's been a blessing. And I just can't tell you how much I appreciate you. Thank you.
Okay, so here we go. Slide, please. Slide. So here today, obviously we just went through our tribute to Mrs. Lanza. Again, we're going back again to reinforce what we learned over the last quarter and the months with regards to the health of the base and the force. And so we're going to be focusing a little bit more on family advocacy with healthy behaviors. We have Sexual Assault Month and Child Abuse Month coming up in April, so we're going to touch on some of those programs in the schedule as well, and some of the issues that we're kind of seeing around the base with regards to some employee assistance. So those are the installation priorities we're going to focus on, and then Mike Place will come up and talk about some other updates with the medical side. But I'll go ahead so we can start moving forward and turn it over to our briefer. So thank you.
My name is Karen Fox. I'm the program manager for family advocacy, and this is, if you've attended any of our briefings, this is the overview slide for family advocacy, because we think it's really important that you recognize how extensive family advocacy here is at JBLM. We have both a treatment side and a prevention side, and they fall under two different command groups. Treatment falls under MedCom, and prevention falls under MCOM. If a family is working with the treatment side, then typically they've already had an incident of domestic abuse or child abuse. The prevention side is the side that I work with. We have program specialists, new parent support program, and installation victim advocates. When I was here last January, I talked about the program specialists when I talked about the classes that we offer. Program specialists are also brigade partnered, and so they go out and do the annual trainings with the individuals that they're partnered with, and they act as subject matter experts. We also have the Installation Victim Advocacy Program, and we have the lead victim advocate here today. She's sitting right over there. Her name's Hope Perini. And when I was talking to Hope earlier today, she was telling me a little bit about what she's seen in terms of domestic abuse here at JBLM. And what she indicated to me was that 30% of the incidents that we have involve alcohol, and a lot of the incidents that we have involve arguments that are escalating and getting out of control. So when we look at the arguments that individuals have, you probably wonder, what are they arguing about? Next slide. According to PrEP, in first marriages, these are the things that people argue about in their relationships. And I think it really makes sense. Money, children, chores, in-laws, communication, work, job, and careers. Half of all marriages end in divorce, and a lot of those individuals get into second relationships. And so the logical question would be, well, what do they argue about in second relationships? Next slide. So what do you see? Yeah, it's the same stuff, but in a different order, right? And that makes sense too. So instead of money being on top, now children is on top. Okay? Communication jumped over chores and in-laws. But when I look at this slide, what I see is that we have a lot of resources that are available to help people with these issues. When I see children, I think New Parent Support Program, or our parenting classes, or Focus. When I see money, I think of Arnie. I think of the financial readiness counselors that they have and the classes that they have. When I see communication, I think of our counselors, I think of our classes. We have a lot of resources available. The problem is there's a disconnect between people who are struggling and the resources, the abundance of resources that we have available here at JBLM. So what I'm asking you is, if you're struggling, reach out for help. If you see somebody struggling, reach out to them and connect them with resources that can help them. Because if we don't, then they're going to end up on the treatment side after an incident has occurred. After an incident has occurred, they're going to get a treatment plan. And you know what they're going to be sent to? Financial readiness, an effective parenting class. They're going to be sent back to the prevention side where they probably should have been to begin with. So if you have any questions, Hope and I will be available afterwards. We have a lot of our information on the outreach tables in the back. And I think I'm going to turn it over to Alicia now.
So I'm just going to highlight a few events that we have coming up in April to complement the awareness. April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month, Month of the Military Child, and Child Abuse Awareness Month. A lot of stuff going on. So Kids Fest, great event every year. The date is April 6th at the MWR Fest tent. And there's a lot of fun activities for kids, but we also have, we do this as a collective unit, so all the agencies and resource providers on the installation attend this so that we're not doing multiple events. We have one large event for Month of the Military Child and Child Abuse Awareness Month. These are the sexual assault awareness activities that are happening in April. Some of them are specific to certain units. You'll see information coming out in the next couple weeks that give you more details, but here are the key dates that you need to remember. The big one we want to highlight is the wrap-up that's a joint effort for the joint base. It's the JBLM Awareness Color Run, and if you've ever been to a color run, I think you know that's where you run and you get slammed with packets of color, and it's supposed to be pretty exciting. So anyway, big event. And then finally, want to put a shout out for volunteer recognition. It is in April, the week is in April, but our ceremony and luncheon's going to be in May, on May 11th at McChord Club from 12 to 1:30. We are now taking nominations for our volunteers. These are the categories of volunteer nominations we're taking. There is a volunteer form on your table. We will accept these online, so if you go on our website, which is all listed on the bottom here, you can get the form, fill it out, and submit it online. So those are the key activities that we have coming up in April. And next up, if I could have Carl.
Hello, ma'am. Sergeant Major and Ms. Grinson. I'm Carl Newhouse with the Employee Assistance Program, and I just want to start off by helping everybody understand there's two programs out there that's doing great work. The Employee Readiness Program, which sometimes we get confused with, who help those get jobs, but the Employee Assistance Program is for those that are already DoD civilians, spouses, and retirees that's seeking assistance. In 1986, President Reagan started the program. It's a confidential resource for those that want to come in and speak. I do want to point out just a few things. Most of the people that see us are civilians, and it's for any adult living issue. So if a civilian is having a hard time in the workplace, if there's things happening from home that's impacting the workplace, they're able to come see the DoD civilian program. Specifically for spouses, one of the things we saw during deployments or when there's rapid deployments, the spouses needed someone to talk to where they felt comfortable, where they didn't feel like it was going to impact the soldier's career. And this was set up originally for substance abuse, for spouses to come and talk to someone. We've had great work as far as working with the spouses, and they're getting the assistance they need. Now, I would say to anybody, if you want to know what's going on with the soldier, touch base with the spouse, right? And so the spouses come in many times to help us with the service member, and we're able to direct them where they need to go. I just want to point out a couple of things here as far as some of our biggest issues, which is a concern for us, of course, and we work under SUTC and ASAP, is that prescription drug use, alcohol abuse, and heroin over the last 3 years is trending up for our spouses. With that, we want to encourage our team to please send them to us. Again, it's confidential. If there's any substance abuse, they go get treatment off base. Again, they're not tied to their service members' Social Security number, so they can talk to us freely. The last piece I'll point out is if there's, of course, any child abuse, spouse abuse, or what have you, we work with all the community agencies on base and off base to refer them where they need to go. I'll end with just saying our community resource size, we go out into the community at least once a quarter and find out what resources are in the community that are equivalent to what we have on base. So for FAP, or domestic violence, we use the Crystal Jane Brepson Center. If there's an issue where we have retirees that can't get a place to stay, or they're getting to a point to where they become elderly, we go out and visit those type of homes. In a situation where someone just needs to talk, not therapy, right, or not diagnosis, they can come see us, and then we can make those proper referrals, especially for spouses and DoD civilians. So please, it's an underutilized resource. We want to make sure we're aware of it, and thank you for allowing me to come and brief today. Make it a great day.
All right, next up is Colonel Place.
Hey, good morning. For those of you who haven't met, Colonel Mike Place, Commander of Madigan. First, want to say thank you for many of you who showed up yesterday over at Madigan for our 25th anniversary of the new Madigan. Appreciate it, and anybody who watched on Facebook, live on Facebook, appreciate that as well. So we're going to do a couple of things real quick, just a couple of slides apiece to give you some ideas of several different things that I think are germane for this particular month. We'll start with Lieutenant Carroll.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Lieutenant Stephanie Carroll. I'm a registered dietitian from Madigan. Today I'm here to talk a little bit about the role of nutrition and readiness, as well as discuss National Nutrition Month, what we have going on this month. So first of all, I'd like to highlight some statistics. So as of October 2016, 13.7% of I-Corps soldiers on JBLM had a BMI greater than 30, and this classifies them as being not just overweight, but obese. Additionally, on 30 January 2017, a new statistic came out that 14% of soldiers were considered non-deployable, with 89% of those soldiers non-deployable for medical reasons. And these medical reasons include things like profiles for musculoskeletal injuries. And we know that soldiers who have diets that are poor in vitamin D and calcium and are also overweight place themselves at greater risk for developing these injuries that place them on profiles. And we also know that if we want these soldiers' dietary behaviors to improve, leadership needs to be the example and model those good dietary behaviors. We also know that soldiers who can't maintain a healthy weight put themselves not only at risk for injury, but also they can be placed on the Army Body Composition Program for failing to meet those AR 600-9 weight for height standards. The Madigan Nutrition Clinic just recently implemented in January a new program for overweight soldiers, also self-referred soldiers, the Fit for Performance weight program. And since implementation of this program, 28% of soldiers in 7th ID were removed from that ABCP list. So that is a positive to note. So March is a great time to highlight nutrition's role in readiness, as it is National Nutrition Month. Slide, please. So we have a lot of events going on this month. I've placed some flyers out on all the tables, as well as our clinic newsletter to kind of talk about some of those. Just to highlight a couple, so we do host a Healthy Shopping on a Budget commissary tour. So we have one specifically for 7th ID spouses that was requested on the 20th of March, but we're hosting another one on the 30th of March. So if you're interested in this, you can call the nutrition clinic and get signed up. It is a booked appointment. And we're also going to be having, we've done this in years past, the Healthy Cooking Program. So this is actually for low-income soldiers with families as the target. This is put on through the Extended Food Nutrition Education Program through WSU. It actually will be starting mid-April. We had a date change on that one. And if you're interested in signing up for that or have soldiers or airmen interested, please call the nutrition clinic and they can get signed up as well. So there's a variety of different events going on. Slide, please. Oh, so I guess that was it for me. I thought I had another slide. So we not only offer group classes, so I talked about the weight control program for soldiers, but we do have an adult weight class. We have a cardiac class. We offer bariatric weight management classes. Also, our dietitians do have one-on-one appointments for a variety of reasons, such as cardiovascular, diabetes, pediatric patients, metabolic disorders, things of that nature. So we offer a variety of services. Our phone number is on the handouts that are on the table. It should be in the newsletter. If you don't see it, it's 253-968-0547. You can get in touch with us to make an appointment. Thank you. And Dr. Bruder, I think, is next.
She's not here. I'll take it. So if you're like me and can't cook, I think Jackie actually signed me up for the class already. It's all good. So Armed Forces Wellness Center. Anybody been to the Wellness Center? Okay, we should probably try to change that. So I don't know if you've ever seen some of the technology and understand your individual risk factors and all that sort of thing for wellness. Many of us think because we do PT, we're good, or we meet high weight, so we're good. The reality is that you can meet all of those and still not be good, right? So cholesterol, high blood pressure, some of the other things, and quite frankly, each of us is built a little bit differently in terms of what we have in terms of body fat. So go to the next slide, if you would, please. I want to make sure that everybody knows that soldiers can go to the Wellness Center. So here's a soldier, a little bit transformative. Next slide, please. It's also for family members, okay? It makes a difference. Go to the next slide. What do? Well, we have some high-tech tools to assess your VO2 max. So really, this is the efficiency of you while you're exercising, as well as using a bod pod, which will actually tell you what your real actual % body fat is, not what we're estimating by taping and all that kind of stuff, but no kidding, the real deal, what you have there. Some biofeedback to improve the quality of your performance, as well as so a series of high-tech assessments is, I guess, what I want you to understand. Go to the next slide, please. As well as a series of classes to improve for you your performance. So this is not just for the folks that are overweight. It is helpful for them, but it will give you a whole bunch of other tools to make you more healthy. You can focus where you want to focus to get better. So no matter where you are, you can get better, and that's what they're there for. Go ahead, next slide. Where's it located? I think most of you have seen it over there, Jensen. Please stop by, take a look. Great tool available for you. Next slide, please. And now we'll talk a little bit about TBI and the Intrepid Spirit.
Good morning. My name is Lee Juergensmeyer. I'm a case manager in Madigan's Traumatic Brain Injury Program. The program started in late 2007. Since then, we've had over 21,000 visits to our program. People are referred to our program, and those people include service members, family members, retirees, by seeing any one of their providers who can put in a referral. I'd like to talk to you a little bit about what we do and where we're going. So currently, if someone has a brain injury, or we suspect they have a brain injury, they're referred to our clinic. And a brain injury, a traumatic brain injury, includes anything from a concussion to a severe or penetrating brain injury. We're attempting to change the culture, encouraging soldiers to seek care after they've had a concussion or some other level of a brain injury. It's not an easy thing to do. I mean, currently, one of our staff members is briefing at Waller Hall, talking to 100 or so redeploying soldiers who may have had an injury during their deployment or in the past, and encouraging them to be seen. What we're trying to do is to optimize where they are and where they're going through good education, evaluation, and treatment. So this program is going to continue, but it's going to continue in a different venue. We have a 25,000 square foot building that's being built, an Intrepid Center, and it's just going to be north of Madigan, behind the credit union, and that's under construction now. It should be ready for us in November. Next slide. So the intensive part of that is something called an intensive outpatient program. And this is a 6-week program for service members, and it's just for service members at this point, with trauma-related conditions. Most of those would include a history of a head injury, behavioral health concerns, chronic pain issues. All of these things, we're trying to use a new model to provide care for them. And so we provide a number of individual and group classes. Some of those classes include goal setting, sleep regulation, cognitive skills, relationship skills, nutrition, self-care technology, emotional management, resiliency through art, finance, community reintegration, spiritual resiliency. We also offer yoga, mindfulness-based stress reduction, and we bring in a lot of external organizations, including the Wellness Center. Our goal is to be able to provide a service for these folks, help them be fit so that they can come back fully ready to engage in all of their active duty obligations. We do have a table in back. If you have questions about any of these things that we're going to be doing, we'd be glad to discuss those with you. And then our last slide. This is a schematic of what an Intrepid Center looks like. There are 4 of them in operation now. JBLM will be the 5th. There are going to be 7 of them in the Army, 9 of them in the military. And it's a state-of-the-art place where we'll do all sorts of things. We're building a staff from now about 23 to a staff of 48. And we're looking forward to that and giving you more information about that. Thank you. And I'll hand this off to Mr. Knight.
Good morning. Mr. Knight over at the Active Duty Records Consolidation Room. Just want to give you a quick update on when you're ETSing or PCSing, what we like to see happen and how we process things. So we encourage that you do drop off a copy of your orders prior to PCSing, so that way we can ensure that it gets to your next installation on time. You are no longer allowed to hand carry your medical records, so we'll do that as efficiently as possible. And then when it comes to ETSing, please, as soon as you're going through the process of ETSing, stop by with a copy of your orders. we'll go ahead and give you 2 copies of paper as well as electronic, so that way you can start the VA process. And then anytime after that, you can always come back for supplemental updates. And then after you've separated, your medical record will be sent off to the Army Processing Center, where they will take it and digitally upload it. So if you do come back to our facility within 6 months after retiring, you can still get that digital copy. So it's no longer mailed to like St. Louis and put in a warehouse anymore. So we are located near the ER at Madigan, and we have lots of signs posted. So if you have any questions, please feel free to stop by.
Morning. Dr. Derek Rogers here from the Ear, Nose, and Throat Clinic at Madigan Army Medical Center. I just wanted to give you guys a heads up. Anybody who's a TRICARE beneficiary, soldiers, family members, we're running a head and neck cancer screening drive on April 5th from 8 to 1500. Certain things you'd want to look out for, reasons to come see us. If you've got a new weird neck lump popping up somewhere, if you're having pain when you're swallowing, if you're noticing weird lumps, bumps, white spots, things you're just concerned about in your mouth, feel free to come on over and see us. We will have you call a number. We've got a flyer that we're going to have passed out to you guys. You can call our cancer nurse directly. We can get you a time slot. Do not feel like you have to do that. You can walk in. We'll have plenty of capability there on that day to screen you. The ENT clinic is located on the 2nd floor in the medical mall at Madigan. So feel free to come see us. I'll be staying afterwards as well. If you have any questions, anything like that, we can help you out. Thanks, sir.
Great. Thank you. Next slide. I think that's it. Yeah. So just a reminder, most folks in the military have played some sports over the year, football being a common one, soccer, some of the other ones. TBI is much more common than folks want to talk about. So if you have someone who's had a history of it, please come let us know. There's things we can do to help. Any questions for us before we pass along? Please, ma'am. Wait for the microphone if you could.
Let's back up to TBI.
Please.
I understand that downrange there was a blood test that they were giving to the soldiers who had an event which could cause TBI, and it was stating that they had TBI. Are they still using that test? And if so, how far out is it still effective to prove that they have TBI?
So I was actually in Afghanistan when we had the folks come over to do that test. It was on an investigational protocol to see if it could in fact do that. I have not seen anything published in the literature or any preliminary data to say that that blood test was effective to do so. Have you heard anything else along those lines? So I don't think that, I guess the premise of the question is that
So
that exists.
they're not using it anymore?
It was never used. It was being evaluated. It was part of a research protocol to see if we could find a marker, a biomarker for traumatic brain injury.
Okay.
Last I heard, we still had not been able to successfully do that.
Okay, because the concern would be is if someone here was in a car accident and they didn't know, they would do that test and it would let them know that it was leaning towards TBI.
Absolutely. I think for a medical person's point of view, it would be very helpful for us to be able to have a test like that. But as of today, that test does not yet exist.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else? It's a great question. Thank you. Okay, Buck James.
Got a couple of things I want to cover on this slide. Just so you all know, we've got the spring break period that's coming up. We've talked about that a little bit. Two events, and again, all this is in your packet. Two events I do want to highlight is we've got the Armed Forces Day celebration that's coming up. Just so everybody's tracking, that event actually kicks off at 10 a.m., but just prior to that at 9 is the Volks March. So there was some confusion on that. So it starts and then it finishes up, and then the actual events and all the other activities kick off at 10. That will be open to the public, so we'll have quite a few people on the joint base. As those of you who have been here before know, it's a big event. It's a good time. There's a lot of really good stuff that you can get out there and take a look at. The static displays, or I like to call them the petting zoos, We'll all be out there, but you'll get a chance to see equipment. You'll get a chance to interact with soldiers. It's a really good opportunity to showcase not only what the Joint Base does, but it's a great opportunity for soldiers and airmen to, interact with the public and really tell their story. The other one is the Special Olympics of Washington this year, the Summer Games. It's going to be a little different than it has been in the past. There's only going to be 2 major events that they're doing on base this year, and that's the cycling event and the powerlifting event. So it'll have a significant reduction on the impact of the Joint Base. You won't see the big footprint on Watkins Field like you have in the past. All of that's now being done at Pacific Lutheran University. So PLU is hosting a lot of that. It's a logistics decision that SOA has made because they can keep the athletes where they're being housed and fed. All their support systems are there, so there's not as much travel time involved. Just so all of you know, next year in 2018, the National Summer Games for Special Olympics are going to be held up in the Seattle area, most likely at the UW compound. That's all still under development, but I know many of you have volunteered in the past. It's a great opportunity to get out there, and I will tell you, it's as jaded as we've all become to see those young men and women overcome some of the challenges they have and still perform at that level. It's a pretty amazing thing to watch. So I would, again, highlight to you it's a good opportunity to volunteer. So as always, as the integrator for the Joint Base, it's my job to make sure you guys all understand. So as you saw earlier, there's stressors you got to deal with. This is a great opportunity for you to communicate with your children. They're going to spend spring break with your in-laws, and you'll save money. Okay, once again, bring it all home for you. Implement that plan. You should be good to go. Any questions? All right. Good to go. I'll be following. I think Ministry of Fun? Nope. Don's up.
Good morning. Just want to talk 2 issues this morning when it comes to housing. The first one that you're going to see should be getting notification for your Department of the Army housing survey. That should be coming out. You'll get an email here shortly from Lincoln. The survey starts on the 27th of April this year, so a little bit earlier than last year. This is your time to give Department of the Army feedback on base housing. Lincoln will be doing a weekly drawing to give prizes, and I just want to point out that the overall prize this year, the grand prize, is 1 month free rent. So it is worth your while to fill out the survey, so month's free rent. In addition to all the other things they give out, like the Apple Watches and the Chromebook and PlayStation 4s and on and on and on. So look for that survey. It'll be coming out soon. You'll get an email both from the Lincoln side and from the Army side. Next slide, please. We've been having some updates in our lodging facilities. We monitor on-base housing, but my office also monitors the lodging contracts for privatized lodging. And so we've been doing and watching renovations for the facilities. Most of you may have seen that in the Rainier complex on Lewis, Maine, we've been doing upgrades when building 1110 right now, which then will go to 1111 and then the main complex. But we've also been doing renovations on the McChord side in building 680 and 682. And so those are almost complete. We had the pleasure of taking through the Air Force Colonel Konzinski and some of his staff last week to look at those. So if you get an opportunity to go over there and take a look at those facilities, just want to let you know that we will be doing upgrades. And then we're going to break ground this year at the end of the year on a new Candlewood suite, which will be coming in the location of Burger King in the field there to the right in that large area. They're going to bring in a new Candlewoods hotel. So pending any questions that you might have? Okay, thank you.
Good morning, JBLM. I'm Joe Peak, the Joint Base Headquarters Public Affairs Officer, and I'm here to talk to you today about road construction. Even though road construction belongs with Director of Public Works, it's a chance for me to also plug the JBLM Facebook page, because that's where we're going to keep everybody informed throughout the next couple of months on road construction changes and things around the base. And as we enter into the big PCS season with about 8,000 or 9,000 new service members coming here to JBLM, make sure that you as unit leaders direct your new soldiers and airmen to the JBLM Facebook page. And recently I went onto Facebook and I typed JBLM, not Joint Base, I just put JBLM. There are a lot of organizations across the base and organizations not on the base that use JBLM in their name. So to get the Joint Base Lewis McChord Facebook page, you actually have to type Joint Base Lewis McChord, and then you'll find the page that's got the aerial photo of the Joint Base Headquarters, so make sure you find the right one. Now, as we enter into the better weather, which is right around the corner, I promise you, there's going to be new road construction going on around the base, and a lot of that gets done as we enter into the April, May, June time frame. So as the Director of Public Works lets us know where those construction locations will be, we'll let you know on the JBLM Facebook page. But this one is a major one. I know it is for me because I drive across Unity Bridge coming into Barnes Gate and over to Lewis, Maine every day. So beginning the end of March through about the end of May, a section of East Lincoln Road is going to be closed for construction. If you drive from Lewis, Maine to McChord Field, you know exactly which section of road I'm talking about. So that road is going to be ripped up and replaced, nice and smooth and widened and everything. But that means to go from McChord Field to Lewis, Maine, you'll have to take the detour through Lakewood over to the Logistics Center gate or over to the Barnes Gate or back to I-5. We'd prefer that we keep those 6,000 or 7,000 trips back and forth each day off of I-5 if possible. Go take that detour, come in the Logistics Center gate. So with that, any questions for the JBLM Public Affairs Office? And thank you, Jay. You know, I wanted to mention, I really appreciated that information on how to get your medical records when you ETS or PCS, because when I was leaving, I think I got mine on microfiche. Anyway, everybody have a great day. And I'll be followed by MWR. And those of you who don't know what microfiche is, see me afterwards.
Good morning. I'm Kelly Wetzel with MWR. Quickly running down some of the things that we've got going on. If you did not register for the Shamrock and Run last night by midnight, the price went up this morning. So you missed your bet, but there are still plenty of spots left to go into the run. And then some of the other activities that we've got going, and you'll see on the next, if you want to hit the next slide, Spring Youth Sports. Registration for a lot of the Spring Youth Sports has started in March and will continue through April and some of them through May. So if you've got children or somebody in your unit has children who want to play spring baseball, if they want to go to the Armed Forces Kids Run, all of the sports that we run in the spring are registering now. So if you go to Parent Central or if you've got your children already registered, you can register them online through WebTrack. A couple of the events coming up in April that you may not have seen yet. Biking through the tulips with the Northwest Adventure Center is a hugely popular event. So if you want to take a mountain bike and ride through the tulips in Snohomish County, it's a perfect time to do it. Definitely, if you haven't done it while you're here, you need to do that while you're here. And then we talked about PCSing. When you get to a location and you think, why did I bring that with me? I really don't need this stuff anymore. Or on the opposite end, I'm getting ready to move and I need to get rid of a whole lot of stuff before I go. The spring flea market is a great place to either get new stuff or get rid of the old stuff. So that's your chance in April at the MWR Fest tent. Then the last slide, please. I have Ray Daniels from the Auto Centers on base, and if you've got questions about maintaining your car, if you'd like to talk to them about some of the services they provide or the things that they will teach you, they'll teach you how to change the oil in your car. He's in the back and he can talk to you about that. They have a brand new service which is indoor heated storage. So those of you who have a classic car or you want to keep your vehicle indoors during the winter, that's a great opportunity for you to do that. And it doesn't cost a whole lot of money for you to store your car warm and dry, and it's just taken care of. And then on the bottom there, they're running a 90-day trial. We had some hours changes with our auto centers. The McChord Center has switched their hours back for a 90-day trial. So through the 7th of May, they'll be open on Sundays. So if you want to work on your vehicle on Sundays, you know you can head to McChord. And then they've got a survey going on there so you can answer a few questions so that we can make some changes and make it more customer service oriented for you. Does anybody have any questions? Great. Have a good time with MWR.
Good morning, leaders, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Chaplain Mark Gauthier, the Garrison Chaplain and Senior Pastor of the Lewis, Maine Chapel Protestant Service. Anybody know what significant religious observance it is today? Ash Wednesday, wow, that's a lot of voices. Good. I bet most of you are Catholics. You do the quickest answer first. We have Ash Wednesday services today. For Protestants, it is at noon at the Lewis Main Chapel service. For Catholics, it is at noon at Lewis North at 12 o'clock, and then 1800 at Lewis Main and Chapel 2 over at the McChord side. The two slides you see right here bring you through the Holy Work services. Next slide, please. These slides have been sent to your chaplains, so if you haven't seen them, ask your chaplain, share me the love, and make sure you get these out to your particular units. Two additional things not on the slide I want to highlight is we have two faith-based summer camps coming up this summer. One is in Malibu, British Columbia, and another one local that are heavily scholarshiped. For example, an E5 soldier with his whole family can go for $75. If you would like information about those camps, I've got a flyer up on the side right here. Also, we have a relatively new low-density faith-based service, a Hindu service, and we've got information over there about the service and worship opportunities. And then finally, on your tables, there is a trifold brochure that gives you all of the chapel service times. If you're fighting over it between your partner, the one who prays the longest gets it, so that's how you work out that disagreement, all right? Any questions for me? Thank you very much.
Good morning, Mike Cruz from the McChord Commissary. A few things going on. We got the St. Patrick's Day on March 17th. It's just corned beef and the cabbage, every year deal. If you want to order meat trays, or cheese tray or sushi trays, just call the number. I know it's difficult to get through the number. Our phone system was changed. We have like 10 different numbers to call into the commissary, which is ridiculous. But if you call, only 5 lines are open. After that, the phones are all just busy. But just keep trying if you want to call. New thing that we also have is fruit baskets at the produce section. We did it for Christmas. We did it for the Chinese New Year. But if you have something going on, a special occasion, just give us a call. The prices are pretty set, so if you have something or a certain fruit you want in, just give us a call, and we'll try to get it for you. Next slide. This weekend, we have the P&G Procter & Gamble sidewalk sale. Numerous items on sale. Just stop by, see what they have. They're a little bit cheaper than what you normally buy. So, next slide. In March, we will have the nutritionists come on board on March 3rd from 12 to 1500, and also on March 10th from 10 to 1200. Sorry, but just stop by and they'll give you a guided tour to the commissary, and they'll show you what is healthy for you and stuff like that. Next slide. Commissary website, a little bit's been updated on it. Just go to McChordCommissary.com. And also, you'll find out new things for Fort Lewis and McChord Commissary. If there's certain things you would like to see on there, just give us a call, and we'll try to put it on there. It's pretty generic, just hours and holiday hours, and pretty much like that. That's it. Any questions? Thank you.
Hey y'all, my name's April McClung. I'm the president of the Lewis Community Spouses Club. I'm up here every month, so hopefully you know about the Spouses Club by now. We are a nonprofit organization. We're open to all spouses, all branches, active duty, National Guard, retired, Gold Star spouses, all ranks. We'd love to have you come and be part of our group. We're there for friendship, but we also raise money throughout the year. So we have luncheons every month as part of that friendship. We have small groups. We do a lot of community outreach, which you can see up here on the slide. I won't read it to you. We also have community grants, and that's where all of our money that we raise throughout the year goes to. Next slide, please. We have a cottage boutique. We have a lot of change of commands coming up. This is where you want to go to get those special items for those changing command. Tuesday through Wednesday, 10 to 2, and Thursday by appointment only. It's right next to the thrift store, so you can't miss it. And then we also have an Operation Deploy Your Dress boutique. We have hundreds of dresses, You can tell your folks about this. You can get one dress a year for free. You just walk out with it. It's pretty cool. So we're going to have a big event April 20th, and I'm going to tell you more about that next month. So I'm going to hold off on the details for that. Just know that's coming up. Maybe mark your calendars. And then the last thing I want to talk about, which I've been talking about for a while, and this is the last month because our event is 17 days away. And we would really like for you to attend. It's going to be a great event. It is March 17th at American Lake Conference Center. Doors open at 6 p.m. When I say fun, I mean it's really going to be fun. Now, there's no like crazy entertainment or anything, but there is a live auction, and it gets a little competitive. So to me, that's just pure entertainment. We're going to have a dessert dash. We're going to have dinner, commemorative catalog for JBLM's 100th anniversary. And at the bottom, you can see where all those proceeds that we raise throughout the year go to. We have folks turning in grants right now as I speak, asking us for the money that we love to give away at the end of the year. So we hope you can come support that great cause. Tickets are $40. I have two lovely ladies back in the back that will sell you tickets today. Otherwise, you're going to have to go on our website at lewiscommunityspousesclub.org and get your tickets there. Okay, any questions about the Lewis Community Spouses Club or our event on March 17th at 6 p.m. at American Lake Conference Center? Shameless plug at the end there. Okay, oh, I have a question back here, Miss Lori Ryan.
Do you happen to know if anybody has a basket better than 16th cabs?
I think you're going to have to attend the event to make that decision. For sure, I think we're going to have a little competition going on with that one. Yes? No? Oh, okay. You have a challenger up here, Miss Jackie Place. Thank you.
So the joint base installations basket is better than Lori Ryan's basket. So, anyways, no, I don't know. Do we have a basket? Anyway, so here's the next date. Madeline, I'm sorry. So, yes, ma'am. I did. I've been buying Bill and Lori Ryan's basket for, I don't know, 15 years at all these events. So next month is our April event. And we're going to kind of start getting into, we're going to add, where's Brian Pilch? We're going to add a little bit about the DES because one of the things that we're focusing with regards to emergency services, law enforcement, is we don't want to be chasing the red dot, meaning the bad things that are happening. We're trying to stay in front of it. And so we want to talk to you about a lot of traffic discipline and summer, things that kind of go on with regards to the base and emergency services is one of the other topics we'll talk about. So again, the stuff is on the table. There's that feedback form. I'm going to keep saying this over and over. Feedback is a gift. I am glad to see, I don't know who did it in 7th ID, but Madeline, we have a little bit of an indicator that last month we talked about the commissary and the nutrition, and then somebody signed up to go in there and do it. I've gotten feedback that is a tremendous opportunity for people to learn because we're kind of staying focused on healthy behaviors and a lot of performance triad, eating, sleeping, and working out. And so we'll continue to focus on that because this is for everybody on the base. It's easy for me and the team to put up all of our programs and services. So if you take a look at kind of what we talked about, it's very focused on certain things not to overwhelm you. So you can take that down through your FRG chain of concerns and talk about it to the lowest level with the family members as well. And if there's something else you need us to talk about and add in there based off of what you've seen or need, please let us know and we'll put it in here and continue to talk about it. And so the more dialogue we get, the better. So we can figure that out. So please take a look at these things we've talked about and get it down to the lowest level, and I appreciate everything. So Mike, do you have anything? Nope. Sergeant Major.
Hey, good morning. I just want to remind everyone that the Army Emergency Relief Campaign is kicked off. Last year, we collected $311,000 for JBLM, which is good. But at the same time that we collected $311,000, we received $2.5 million. So I just help get the word out, and we get the collections up, and we can support ourselves. Thank you.
Ma'am, do you want to say anything? No? Okay, she says thank you to all of you. So, Alexander, do you have anything you want to think? All right, well, thank you very much for everybody being here, and we'll see you next month.